Hey, what's going on, everyone? Coach Hamley here with another episode of the mental side. Today is June the 11th, and this is episode 43, Thursday Thought Edition. Before we get to today's thought, I'd like to thank you all for being here once again. You know the drill and what Coach Hamley is going to say. If you could, please give this video and this channel a like, and let's help spread the good message. Tag me or Sluggers in a post, or share out the link to somebody in your life who you think would find benefit in our talks. So today we're going to stick with the theme of leadership, and today's thought comes from a book I just got from, I guess I shouldn't say from, but recommended by a buddy of mine, and it is the 1 Year Uncommon Life Daily Challenge by Coach Tony Dungy. And so what it is, it's a daily challenges through scripture, and Coach Dungy, gives a little, picks a scripture verse, and then talks on it, on how we can apply it to our day. And I had just heard of it, and said, I have to have it. And so, even though we're just about halfway through the year, I figured no better time than the present to pick it up and add it to my morning ritual, along with reading the Daily Stoic. And the reason why I really wanted to get this book, and it's been out for a few years now, was Coach Dungy's first book, Quiet Strength, is what really got me into reading. And that book had special meaning as it was recommended to me by a high school coach who I still see as a mentor to this day. So it's a great read. I recommend it. I find strength and guidance through Scripture. That might not be your thing. However, for me, I lean in on my faith. And so for me, this is something like this is where I find leadership. Not just leadership, but teachings of leadership. So a good point being for today's thought is, where are you searching out how to be a leader? Where do you get your strength as a leader? And for some it might be faith. For some it could be from a mentor, like a coach, a parent, a community member, from books, readings, different authors. I want to challenge you. Where are you learning how to be a leader? A lot of people claim that they are leaders, claim that they want to be leaders. However, leadership is not something that we are born inherently with. So if you're looking to be a leader in the baseball world, in the business world, in the community, where are you learning how to be a leader? Who is your mentor, and who has helped guiding you down that path? Because leadership is not something that just happens overnight. I don't claim to be the greatest leader. I will state that I'm working on it just like you. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. We're learning how to be better leaders, how to be mindful, and how to be positive members of our community. And so for me, reading works from the greats, especially fellow coaches, men and women in the business world, CEOs, VPs, presidents, who lead with values, virtues, and morals that I try to exemplify and model in my own leadership. So finding people like that who you can use as your guide, and like I've stated a number of times through the mental side, success leaves clues. Success leaves a path. And we can use that path to guide us and help us on our own journey, where eventually we divert from that path and we create our own. However, it's great to have these men and women who we see as leaders to help give us that start, be our starting block. And then, you read enough, you listen enough, you do enough, and eventually you become your own authentic version of leadership. And I think that's just really a great way to look at it. To cap out on today's Thursday thought, I thought I would just read a little bit about what Coach Dungy states today in his daily challenge. And I'll start with, this is the second to last paragraph. Coach Dungy states, "This look at me attitude used to make a player unpopular, and in some ways it still does. But the culture has shifted to the point that now it pays off. But while that attitude gets a lot of attention, it still isn't very appealing. Nobody really believes in us when we blow our own horns because we are biased. And our focus is on ourselves comes across as self-centered and prideful." And then he ties it in with scripture. And like I said, I'm not pushing anything. This is, for me, I enjoy reading scripture. It helps gives me a great jump on the day, perspective. And like I said, for me, it's a place where I look for leadership advice. Scripture tells us not to praise ourselves, but to let others speak about us. Whatever field we work in, our job is to do the best we can and let our attitude, work ethic, gifts, and skills speak volumes. When we do that, others will eventually notice, and that will mean much more to us and to them than if we had to make them notice with our mouths. The look at me attitude may get attention in the short run, but it doesn't pay off long term. God honors humility, not pride. And I think that's great advice for leadership in general, where leaders should be noticed for their actions, not their mouths. Leaders show up, show out, and just do their job with humility, not looking to be boastful. And one of my favorite athletes growing up was Barry Sanders. And Barry never spoke a word. Barry just showed out, led by example, and showed his leadership through his hard work, his work ethic, and just his want to be his best self for the team. You know, it was pretty well known that Barry didn't like awards or accolades, and a number of times when he was presented with those things, turned them down, or even just respectfully declined and didn't want to show up for events where he was going to be honored. Now, I'm not saying it's not okay to receive accolades and awards. However, just understand the perspective behind public acknowledgement. And this is another bit of advice a coach, the same high school coach, gave me back in high school, where he stated, the same people who are shaking your hand with their right hand could also be the same person stabbing you in the back with the left. So, we being boastful and running our mouths and talking ourselves up, we're setting ourselves up for failure. And I know some athletes, we've seen, a number of athletes in today's world who talk the talk, and, it gets them attention and it brings focus on them. But then, man, I can't help but think when they have a rough game or a rough season, how far that fall must be. And though we don't care what others think of us, it's definitely, there is the law of likability and the law of attraction, where we want to bring in positive attention, positive energy. And I can't help but think that talking about yourself and saying, look at me, I don't see any positive in that. Maybe you see otherwise. I'd love to hear it. Comment, email me. However, it's just getting harder and harder, I think, for young athletes and even adults. A lot of people are just very boastful. Look at me. Look how great I am. Look what I did today. Look at how good of a parent I am. I truly believe if you do the right thing and you just do your job, what you do in private, what you do in the dark, will be seen in public and will be brought to the light. So just keep that in mind as you move through the rest of this week. Stay humble, be in service of your people, and you will receive the positive attention that you're looking for. And talking about yourself, telling others how great you are, I just think through my experience, people who do that, normally they're not as much as they say they are. And I don't say that to be negative or rude or condescending. It's just let your actions speak, and be the man, be the woman that you show that you are. All right, that's your Thursday thought for today. Give this video, give this channel a like, share it out, and always keep slugging.